Taco Bell facing major lawsuit. The U.S. Supreme Court settled on November 15 to take a significant case including Taco Bell franchisee Sundance Incorporated, which claims in excess of 150 cheap food chain establishments the nation over. The case is Morgan v. Sundance Incorporated, which started as a claim by Robin Morgan, who worked at a Taco Bell in Iowa, and later swelled into a legal claim against the organization. She blamed Sundance for neglecting to pay her and her associates all that they were owed. Sundance needed to expect Morgan to settle the case's assertion, however a region court decided that Sundance postponed the option to do as such in light of the fact that it stood by excessively long, it clarifies. SCOTUS blog. The locale court decided that Morgan was hurt by pausing and investing energy in case before the mediation request came. In case Sundance requested assertion before, it might have invested that energy getting ready for it. Notwithstanding, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit switched that choice, deciding that Morgan was not hurt and said the case could depend on assertion. He then, at that point, took the case to the Supreme Court in August, trusting they could conclude whether he needed to show bias to demonstrate that Sundance postponed the option to mediate prior. Morgan doesn't figure Sundance can take the cases to assertion now since it required 8 months after he recorded the claim to do as such, he clarifies. Reuters. The requests court differ in March, deciding that Sundance's choice to go to intervention prior to restricting discretion didn't prejudge the case. To make matters seriously confounding, 7 requests courts forced a comparative norm of bias in different cases, yet 3 others said that bias is just one variable in choosing whether a party postpones the option to propel intervention. Morgan's claim started in 2018, when he blamed Sundance for abusing government wage laws when he figured out how to stay away from extra time pay. Sundance initially needed to excuse the charges, asserting that the claim was excused by a very much like one in government court in Michigan. Intervention endeavors bombed when the movement to excuse was forthcoming. 4 months after the movement was recorded, an Iowa government judge excused it. In May 2019, the Iowa government judge excused Sundance's endeavor to propel mediation, contending that Sundance certainly deferred that right with the movement to excuse. The Eighth Circuit Court upset that administering on the grounds that they accepted Morgan had neglected to show that Sundance's postponement in requiring discretion was altogether adverse to her. In his August accommodation to the Supreme Court, Morgan said the prerequisite that offended parties show inclination was an infringement of the Federal Arbitration Act, which expresses that intervention contracts are on equivalent balance with different agreements. As indicated by Morgan, the courts should utilize the standards of state contracts as opposed to proposing new government ones. Sundance contended that all courts utilize inclination as a component, so there was no division between the courts at all that should be chosen by the Supreme Court.